Sonya Amrita, and today I'm putting together for you a kind of spontaneous and extemporaneous set of 3 videos about your true relationship with an awakening teacher, with any figure of authority actually, and your true inner teacher and inner authority. And in this particular video, I want to talk about what you bring to your relationship with your awakening teachers. And in the last video, I talked about how spiritual teachers are imperfect, how we all have limitations. So I talked about them. Now we're talking about your side of the equation. This is important for me to talk about because the biggest wounds that I find that my clients have from other or past spiritual teachers all come from putting too much power in their spiritual teacher's hands and coming from really asking their spiritual teacher to do something for them that they can't do, that they're not capable of doing and they're not designed to do. So first I want to get really clear about what an awakening teacher does for you, because really an awakening teacher's function is really simple and pretty singular. And that is to call you back and remind you and help you remember God, your true nature, the divine all around you, the divine within you. That's it. That's it. That is the function of an awakening teacher. You can put it in all kinds of different language. There's all kinds of ways to do this. Think of it like ice cream. Lots of different flavors of ice cream. It's still ice cream. It's still one thing. Now, there are all kinds of other things that an awakening teacher or a spiritual teacher can do. They can give you incredible love. Like I always think about Amachi, and I think about how if you get a hug from Amachi, you get this incredible transmission of love, right? And it can be so healing and transforming for your body and your heart and your mind. I think of that as the whipped cream and cherries on top. Fundamentally, what is she doing? She's still calling you back to your true nature. She's still calling you back to God. She's just doing it through her flavor and with the amazing, stunning whipped cream and cherries of her hugs and this incredible transmission of love, right? And so all of us have, I'm a mystic, I'm a shaman, I do all of this healing work. That's my whipped cream and cherries. Somebody else has this precise process of inquiry. That's their whipped cream and cherries. My first spiritual teacher taught this incredible path of yoga and meditation and care for the body. That's his whipped cream and cherries. But fundamentally, everyone is calling you back to God. Okay, so that's their singular function. Now here's what we ask awakened teachers to do that they really aren't qualified to do and they have no business doing for you. And the first thing that I see that clients tend to ask their teachers to do for them is be their mother or their father. This is the thing, guys. If you ask any figure of authority, but especially an awakening teacher, to be your mother or your father, even subconsciously, they are going to fail you. Let me be really clear about this. There's no way they can't fail at being your mother or your father. Because what happened in the past is the past. Wherever your parents fell short is in the past. And no one, no matter how magical, no matter how many miracles we can perform, no one can go back into the past and change what happened in the past for you. So there's a process here that I won't go into in this video, but I'll just mention briefly, which is grieve over what did or did not happen in the past, let it go, and look at this moment as a fresh start. And when you do that, then you'll stop asking your awakening teachers to give you the love and the nurturing and the affirmation that you didn't get as a child, because they can't do that. Remember, they're here for one purpose. They're here to call you back to your true divine nature. Here's a second thing that I often see people ask their awakening teachers to do, which is to subconsciously, they ask their awakening teachers to affirm their small self or their stories about their ego identity. And I'll give you some examples of how this looks. So I had a client who was just ranting about this other spiritual teacher she was working with and how he was not helping her take the steps she needed to grow in her life. And I can't remember the circumstances exactly, but it was something that she wanted help doing. And as she's telling me the story about how she wants this help, I'm thinking to myself, all you have to do is step out and do this. You don't need him to hold your hand. You don't need me to hold your hand. You just need to do this. And if you ask him to help you with this, you're saying, please buy into my story that I'm powerless and disempowered and helpless and young. He's never going to do that. And I happen to know this spiritual teacher personally, and I knew for a fact he was never going to fall into that trap. So you can't ask your teacher to coddle you in your illusions or your stories about yourself. They can be compassionate about how they meet you, how they meet the story of yourself, but they can't keep your ego story in place. I had a different client, who had a lot of trauma in her childhood, and all she wanted to hear from me was that the story she'd made about her parents' misbehavior was right. That's all she wanted from me. And every time I started to go into, okay, yes, that happened. I understand why you feel that way. And, there's this whole other way of seeing it. She'd get mad at me. She didn't want to hear it. Well, I had to stop seeing her. I had to refer her to somebody else because I can't perform that function for her. I'm not judging her. Maybe that was exactly what she needed, right? Maybe she needed a therapist or a healer to just affirm her story for her. I don't know. I'm not going to make that judgment call. What I know is that in my role of bringing someone into relationship with their true natures, I can't affirm their ego stories. I can, and this is part of my whipped cream and cherries, acknowledge your life path, your life experience, acknowledge how you came to the stories you came to, but then it's also my job to build the bridge to truth, right? To help you take those steps to see the reality and to let go of those stories. Okay? So to summarize here, again, if you bring to your teacher your story or your illusion and you expect your teacher to affirm that story, it's gonna fail. Here's the third thing that clients do with their spiritual teachers, where they ask their teachers to fix something about their lives for them. They think that because we can perform miracles, that we should be able to fix what's most causing them pain. And often this is also very subconscious. So let me give a little short teaching on miracles. This deserves, an epic encyclopedic tome, but let me give a short teaching on miracles. This is how I see miracles happening. I'm in the business of miracles. I see miracles in my life every day, in my life personally with my clients. I've got colleagues, teachers, and healers who are in the business of miracles. They see miracles, catalyze miracles every single day. But what empowers me or anybody else to catalyze a miracle is a magical formula of God and everything in yourself inside and everything in your life outside to be in such alignment that you no longer need whatever suffering you're in, and there's a way in which it's effortless to just move the obstacles out of the way and bring you to that miracle. So here's where miracles don't happen. Miracles will never happen if you need a particular struggle or story to work through to learn a lesson. And this is why I'm always saying and repeating ad nauseum, your struggles, your challenges, your life, they are your gateway to awakening. They are your gateway to find your wisdom. They are your opportunity to find your true self. So I can't fix them for you unless it's so time for it to shift in you. Then I can help you and catalyze that miracle in your life to help you shift it. But until that moment, you need this lesson. You need it. And it sucks. And I'm not going to argue that it sucks. And I'm not going to argue that suffering is really hard and it's really painful. But I also want you to take every opportunity to milk every little bit out of any struggle or challenge that you have. So don't ask me to fix it for you. if it's something that you need. I will, however, help you to find the golden, amazing, rich nugget in it. And I can guarantee you that every client I've ever had who makes the most out of their challenges and struggles, that's the miracle. They actually produce their own miracles of healing and transformation because they stop resisting the struggle and they learn the most for it or from it. Okay, so here's the last thing that I advise you not to ask your awakening teachers to do, but most people do, which is to help you make decisions, to make decisions for you. It's a very different thing for somebody in my role as a psychic and a shaman and a healer and a coach to guide you, to show you variables in your decision that you might not otherwise see. But no one, especially not me, can make the decision for you. Every decision you make in your life is 100% yours. You own it. You own all the ripple effects and all the consequences. It's all yours. And if you ask an awakening teacher to make that decision for you, you're completely disempowering yourself. And you're putting undue and unrealistic power into your teacher's hands. I had a client ask me once what she should do with her romantic relationship. Should I break up with him? Should I stay with him? And I told her exactly what I'm telling you today. Nobody can make that decision for you but you. I can only point out the elements in your internal environment and external environment, right? But I understand. I remember I asked my first spiritual teacher if I should break up with my boyfriend at the time, and thank God he had the integrity and clarity not to answer my question for me. I had to own that decision for myself. This empowerment of owning your own decisions is actually going to lead us into the topic for the next video, which is about your own inner authority, your inner teacher, your inner truth, your inner wisdom, and how if you don't bring that to your relationship with your awakening teacher cannot actually serve you to the best extent that he or she can or has the potential to. I hope this has been useful for you. If it is, please forward it along, and thank you always for watching. Blessings always for your journey.